I don't think you can understand what's going on right now unless you have an appreciation of what's happened in the past and of all the events over the past 150 years or so. The big one really is the Great War, and I think we need to understand the causes, conduct and consequences of that period in history if we're to fully get to grips with what's going on in our world today and try to improve things for the future.
That's really good. Called upon for military duties and died in action.
Supported by the National Heritage Lottery Fund, the National Children's Football Alliance's Peace Field project provides schools with the opportunity to twin their designated areas of play with the Flanders Peace Field.
It will promote friendship and sportsmanship because you know that you need to show some respect to what happened, but also it kind of brings you closer because you all remember, like in history lessons and stuff.
To the editor of the Kent Messenger, being an inhabitant of Kent, do you think one of your readers would kindly send us a football?
Well, I enjoyed being around my friends and making all these posters and making the trenches to sort of just help revise and remember what did happen. And I also quite enjoyed working with the primary school children because obviously if you know, getting the younger generations to know about the Peace Fields project and World War I, it's really good for them.
Working in partnership with the Peace Village Messines, Belgium, site of the 1914 Christmas Truces, the Peace Field project invites schools, clubs and community groups not only to commemorate the First World War and the Christmas Truces, but also to celebrate peace through reflecting on a moment in history that inspires humanitarianism.
To remember that it wasn't that long ago where there was a war between European countries, and we should never ever take peace between us for granted. We've always got to really work at peace and work at making sure that we're friends with other countries.
So I think the Peace Fields project is incredibly important for a legacy of commemorating the First World War and to have a new generation who actually have moments when they commemorate it. Well, it's really fabulous to see at this very local level another generation of children learning about the First World War and doing it in a way that really engages them. So they're learning about the history and also doing it through football. So there might be children who might not be interested just in the history bit, but the football will get them in. Or kids who are not interested in the football, but the history bit will get them in.
The Peace Field project lends itself to cross-curricular activities, sports, history, literacy, arts, humanities and citizenship, community cohesion and intergenerational relationships.
Winning the war and making money. So the government wants you to go and see this film, and 20 million people go and see this film in the first week alone, including the King and Queen. They want you to see the war effort and to support the war effort.
I think I'd have to agree with Francesca about the Peace Fields project thing that we did, was because they explained it in such a fun and enjoyable way, and it just made it so much more easy to understand.
It just brings it together with the sacrifice of those who laid down their lives and then just had a truce at Christmas to show that the people they were fighting were also humans, and that it just showed that humans, no matter how awful they can be at times, they still show humanity towards one another. And that it shows that us being paired with that in this school, it shows that we too can show care and emotion even in the darkest of times.
The Atkins family have an only son. Would you like to stand up, young Tommy Atkins? What is your name? Freddie Atkins. Right, we couldn't get Tommy, but we got a Freddie. That's good enough. And how old are you, Freddie? 13. Sorry, I'm going to ask you that again. Being as out in the British Army, you've got to be 18. 18. Ah, that's exactly right. You are right there. Now then, man, when a lad like this joins up, everyone else in the village gives a huge cheer and a round of applause. Can we do that, ladies? Well done. This man is going to the front. What an example. Come on, girl, give her a round of applause.
The women after the war, that was when the world wasn't as sexist. We all took a part, and that the women did actually get their jobs and stay where they wanted to be. It is important. It's good to remember everyone and the part they played in during the war, and that they was fighting for our country, and we wouldn't be where we are today if it weren't for them.
To look after them completely, write their letters for them, We're going to have to light their cigarettes for them. We're going to have to look
All about what they got for Christmas and how like their Christmases was in the trenches, and like how nice people that were being nice actually gave them stuff for Christmas. That we dressed up and we had fun and we learned more stuff by actually interacting with other people.
to put up with a bit of attitude from the nurses, and we have to be quite strong and quite feisty. We've got a very, very important role.
I learned a lot more than what I did at school. The outfits they had to wear, because I didn't really learn nothing about them, just like the trenches and that.
The amount of work that women had to do and like how dangerous it was and how untrained they were, that was really shocking.
Our life would have been so different. We might have not even existed if Germany won.
I think today I've learned why it's so important that women should have rights, and the way everyone should make their own decision, not other people doing it for them, because you need to stand up for yourself sometimes and say what you think, so you're not bossed around all the time.
I've learned how in their day how their life was and how terrifying it was to be in that situation.
Well, commemoration is terribly important. It honours those who fell, and we have to remember that young men sacrificed their lives. They don't have a life, and we say that and we remember them by the last post. But the fact is, these young people in education today should, all things being considered, grow up to have long and fulfilled lives. The very thing their predecessors never had. And if they hadn't have given their lives, one has to ask the question, would they actually be here today? I found the Peace Field project today to be quite a humbling experience, because it showed the interest of young people, and from very young people all the way up to the sort of senior level, in what has been going on. And this isn't a project that's just a flash in the pan. This has been going on for 3 years. So therefore it shows dedication, it shows determination, and it shows an understanding of what went before.
Schools are invited to sign a Peace Field Project Declaration, pledging to hold a games event once a year on their Peace Field to commemorate the First World War and celebrate peace.
I think they'll kind of remember coming out here to spread the poppy seeds, and they'll remember about how, like linking in with the football, they'll link that in with the part of the history that they've learned today, and they'll kind of realise how much people really need to come together to stop other wars and things like that from happening. That's my second time doing it since I've started cadets. I think it's important because it kind of gets kids to realise what the people did for us in the past, and if they didn't do that, we wouldn't have what we had now.
Well, it brings all the kids together from different schools, so that even if they weren't friends, they can maybe possibly make friends with the other schools, and it will just bring all of the community together.
No clean sheets. Dawn on a perishing day, the weapons freeze in the hands of a flat-back four. In the moon hangs in the air. The moon hangs in the air like a ball, skied by a shivering keeper. All these boys want to do today is shoot and defend and attack. Lights on a half-raised wave, the trench faces lifted till you see their breath. A ball flies in the air like a moon, kicked through the morning mist. All these boys want to have today is a generous amount of extra time. No strict formations here this morning, no 4-4-2 or 4-5-1. No rules really, just a kickabout with nothing to be won except respect.
I think it's very important because it shows people that to play together is more important than fighting, and it's peaceful, so although you have got two opposing teams, they aren't ready to fight each other to win. It's sort of more to enjoy yourself.
I think it's more about getting involved rather than the competition itself. It's not really about the winning and losing. It's more about getting involved, be together and just have fun.
I think the Peace Field project is a brilliant idea, because these kids we've been with here today, they would have had great-great-grandparents, the vast majority of them, who would have actually been on those battlefields. So anything that we can do that links 100 years ago with today, anything that links the horror of those trenches to ground here, I think is a very good thing. It's a brilliant idea. I think the Peace Field project and the whole idea of linking sport to remembrance and to war is a very good one.
Well, it would be like if they all just went out and sort of played a game with like the enemy and sort of enjoyed it, then I would say like, what's the point of keep on fighting if you're what is the point of fighting each other if you sort of like each other and you can collaborate with each other? I'd be sort of astonished like why they're still fighting.
The Peace Fields project is open to primary schools, secondary schools and all sports clubs, promoting sportsmanship and equal opportunities.
Because they know it's a peace pitch, promoting like being good to other people, it'll stop things like fighting on the pitch and just fair games.
I really like the Peace Field, and it's really, really good because I learn a lot more things I would learn normally in a lesson. And because there's someone like coming in who's like from the university to tell us, it's made it 10 times better because it's a lot more logical. And he can always tell, he's always like mentioning like other things of other soldiers, and it brought into the fact is like 100 years ago they were just like normal people like me and you, and it made me a lot happier like in a history lesson than like. And quite happily, like it's making me thinking of going to university now, so I can actually go speak to a like a historian or something. Because if I go to university or something, like if I'm starting to learn things from the Peace Field projects, it's like really helped me in the future, and I'm really liking it so far.
Well, I very much hope it will. I hope it will be because people will have learnt a lot. They will actually have been involved in sport. And they will also make sure that because it's 100 years ago now, not many of the young people have got relatives or friends who actually were involved in this period of history, because it is a period of history. So we hope to keep alive the memories by commemorating, but also getting people involved in sport and our heritage and the history. And if we can do that, I think your project will be a great success.
We all showed pictures. I learned his baby's name. Now clear the lines of this poem, and let's get on with the game. No white penalty spot this morning. The players are all unknown. You can see them in the graveyards in teams of forgotten stone. The nets are made of tangled wire. No man's land is the pitch. A flare floodlights in the moment in the dugouts and the ditch. 100 winters ago, sky opened to the sunshine of the sun, shining on these teams of players and the sounds of this innocent game. All these boys want to hear today is the final whistle. Let them walk away. It has been so cold. The lines of these poems will be found, written in the unforgotten mud like a team sheet. Remember them, read them again.
For more information about how your school or sports club can get involved, please contact www.childrensfootballalliance.com.